So last week I got my hands on the brand new Trading 212 card and I've been putting it through its paces at the moment. I've been using it for some spending, playing around with the features and getting to know the pros and cons so I could make this first video for you. Let me just give you the high level details first and then we can talk through everything else. So what is it? It's a debit card that Trading 212 have now released that allows you to spend the cash that's inside your investing account. It's a MasterCard debit card, not a credit card, so you will need to have cash inside your account, otherwise you are going to get yourself rejected when you try and buy your KFC drive-thru. Now, some of the key features and perks are that cashback is provided on all purchases at a rate of 0.5%, and this money is paid into your account on a daily basis. There's multi-currency support, meaning that you can exchange your money into 13 major currencies currently, like the euro and the US dollar. There's a super low rate to exchange your money at just 0.15% with no markups for evening and weekend transfers. And also, you can withdraw money at no charge from ATMs as well. Finally, don't forget one of the best features, there's interest on cash across all of the major currencies too, and the current rates are some of the highest in the industry at 5.2% in UK pounds, 5.1% on US dollars, and even 4.2% on euros. Now, a few more details on each point, and I'll also give you some comparisons to some of the other providers to let you decide whether this could be something worth getting for you. Firstly, on the card itself, if you apply for a card, you will get a virtual card inside your app. If you do want a physical one, you will have to wait for that in the post and pay a small fee. I had to pay for mine and it was a total cost of £5.85. There's no difference to what you can actually do with a physical or a virtual card. It still has a 16 digits, an expiry date and a security code, but obviously you aren't going to be able to pay for anything in person or take cash out with a virtual card. This could be a bit of a deal breaker for some of you as we're all quite used to being given free cards, so do just be aware of that part firstly. Secondly, on the cards, there's no support at the moment for Apple Pay or Google Pay. Now, just looking at the support forums from the post here in February, you can see that Trading 212 did say that this feature is coming soon, but until then, you will need a physical card if you do want to pay for anything in person. Otherwise, you'll have to have a virtual one, and this will be only useful for any payments that you make online. Okay, let's talk a bit more detail now on the cashback side. As I said earlier, the cashback is paid to you on a daily basis and it's paid at a rate of 0.5% on all purchases. I've made some purchases myself to test this and confirm it's all working nice and smoothly. I popped to Tesco to pick up some bits and then the next day I saw the cashback inside the account. Now the cashback is just paid into the account as a whole. There's no separate pot or any feature to do anything clever like that or reinvest it into a pie, for example. I think this could be a really cool feature in the future to say any cashback I earn, I want to invest into my stocks and shares at the end of the month. I suspect something like this could be in the roadmap, or even another suggestion might be to say that any cashback I earn, I want to transfer to my ISA account and reinvest it there. Now that would be a very cool feature. Maybe watch this space. Now, one more thing to note is that there is a limit to the cashback that can be paid, and this is set to £20 per month. So if you work this out quickly, you'll see that this would be like spending £4,000 a month on this card before you maxed out the cashback features. Now, I doubt very many people are actually going to be doing that, but if you are spending that much money on cards each month, you could be better off with a points card, maybe something like an American Express card, just as an example. Moving on, let's talk about the multi-currency support quickly. As I mentioned earlier, you can exchange your money on your card into 13 different major currencies. The fees you pay are super low at just 0.15% for the exchange, which are on top of the interbank rates. And there are no markups for evening and weekend transfers, which is something quite common in the industry. Also, the rate that you pay is the live interbank rate, pretty much the best you're ever going to get as a retail customer. Now, just on that part about evening and weekend markups, this is actually quite common from the other companies. In fact, if you just head over to Revolut's website, you can see that all of their plans, they have additional fees for currency exchanges outside of Monday to Friday. So this means that even if you stump up for their most expensive account at £45 a month, you're still going to get those additional weekend fees. I think this part is really worth focusing on because let's be honest, if you're going to spend your money abroad, you're most likely going to be using it at the weekend, especially if you're on some kind of mini break. If you do want to get yourself the brand new Trading 212 card and you are new to the company, don't forget that if you sign up through my link below in the description and deposit just £1, you will get yourself a free share up to the value of £100, but you can check that out after this video. Just leading on from this, let's talk interest on cash. This is probably one of the best features in Trading 212 right now, and you don't need a card to get this. This is open to anyone. Interest is paid on any of your cash that is not invested, and the rates depend on what currency you hold your cash in. If you go to the currency page, you can see what rates are currently being offered. And at the time of filming this video, it's 5.2% on the UK pounds, 5.1% on US dollars, and 4.2% on euros. This interest is paid every day, and if you have notifications turned on your phone, you'll see this come through. I typically see mine come through every single morning. Now, a quick note on the interest side of the account, you will need to opt in to get these higher rates. You have to press on the 3 buttons in the bottom right of the app, go to earn interest on cash, and then accept the terms and conditions. The reason for this is that your cash might end up getting invested either with a bank or a qualified money market fund, and this technically counts as an investment. This is important to note as any money invested in the money market fund is not protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. For anyone who's unsure what this is the protection you get up to £85,000 per person per provider when it comes to your money across lots of different financial products here in the UK. Now, I'll leave that up to you to decide if that's actually worth it for you personally. My own view is that if a money market fund were to fail, you'd probably have way more problems to worry about, as this would suggest that multiple governments have defaulted on their debt at the same time, especially as we're talking high quality ones and not just junk. But anyway, always worth being aware of. Now, this all sounds good, but what about the competition? Well, this is a bit of a tough one as they're competing here with some of the digital banks and fintechs like Chase Bank, Monzo, and Revolut. But remember, this isn't a bank account and you don't get an account number and sort code, nor can you set up any kinds of direct debits. So I think the closest competitor is probably Revolut rather than Chase and Monzo, and they look to be going after someone who wants to have an account in multiple currencies, maybe do some investing and also get interest on their cash at much better rates than the traditional high street banks. So how do they compare? Well, on the interest side, Trading 212 has some of the best rates in the whole business. You'll struggle to find anything as good. Now, I've just seen an email come through from Chase saying that they're putting up their interest on cash to 5.1% until November 2024. Right now, they sit at 4.1%, which is a whole percentage point less than Trading 212. Over on Revolut, if you have a look at their interest on cash, you'll see that it depends on what account you have, but it goes from 2.29% to 4.75% if you stump up for their Ultra account, but do bear in mind this is quite a lot of money per month. In terms of cashback, well, Revolut offers just 0.1% on cashback in the UK and 1% everywhere else. They do advertise much higher rates on their website, but this is for very specific spending on travel, and I think that's a little bit cheeky as you'd need to check if booking through them is actually any better than just going through the usual kind of travel comparison sites or any other hotel websites. Chase is pretty good for cashback, probably the closest competitor for that, and they offer 1% cashback, but only with a deposit of £1,500 in a month, and there is a £15 limit, whereas Trading 212 has a £20 limit, and there's no requirement to put in any money at all. With investing, the other platforms are now offering investing accounts or partnering with others to offer it, but you won't be able to beat Trading 212 with a completely free ISA account, fractional share trading, and those low 0.15% exchange fees, to be honest. The other platforms are either not offering an ISA, or they've partnered with a robo-advisor who charge much higher fees. So with that said, and there's loads more that you could say, I just don't want to make this video too long, to be honest. Who is this card actually for? Well, I think this card is a bit of a no-brainer if you already have a Trading 212 account. You can open up the card account from the investing part of the app and get the virtual card up and running really quickly. It's nice having a pot of money which is earning you interest while being able to spend that money and to get cash back on purchases as well. If you don't already have some kind of points or cashback on your everyday spending, I'd say that you should start to think about this as well. Personally, for me, I typically use my Virgin credit card to get air miles for personal purchases and then my American Express business card for anything business related. But pretty much any of my spending I ever do is always on some kind of rewards card. You'll never see me pulling out my debit card. There's no benefits or protections there whatsoever. Also, on that note, I think this is going to be really useful for holiday spending and being able to get your euros or dollars on. Being able to spend in the local currency will save you any exchange fees which get charged by the banks. And sure, it might only be a small percentage point, but all those fees add up, so why pay them if you don't have to? Also, being able to get cash out at ATMs for free as well, up to the limits, will be quite nice if you need some local currency as well. So for me, I think this would definitely be my go-to travel spending card and stay in my wallet. I'd love to know your thoughts too, so let me know if I've missed anything below in the comments. Okay, a quick list of pros and cons then, just to wrap things up. The pros for me are the amazing interest rates on cash, which you can get without even needing a card, and being able to get them on multiple currencies is really good for people all over the UK and Europe. The exchange fees are excellent at 0.15% above the interbank live rates that stay the same at weekends as well, which is really important to note. There's no minimum requirements for deposits like other providers. The cashback is great at 0.5% with no fees or hoops to jump through. And I think the limits will be fine for 99% of people for what you can get back. And even things like the daily spend limits and cash from an ATM. Also, I'd say that it is nice having more things in one place. Trading 212 are taking over the world a bit at the moment. And being able to have a general cash account, as well as my ISA here for no fees, is pretty impressive. Also coming soon is the cash ISA and even a SIP2, I believe. So this platform is just going to get even more and more impressive, I think. So competitors better watch out. Now, on the cons, it's not perfect just yet. I think the biggest thing that needs sorting right now is the ability to add to Apple Pay or Google Pay. There's no point having the virtual card if you can't spend it in physical locations, like when you're on holiday at a restaurant or whatever. They do say it's coming soon, so watch this space. Secondly, it's not a bank account, so there's no account number or sort code for you to specifically to send and receive money, so please don't expect that. There's no auto invest feature or separate pots to put your interest in. I think this could be a really good if they made it really easy to get your cash back and get that reinvested automatically into your portfolio, or even sent over to your ISA account every month or just something like that. I think that could be really good, as right now it's all just kind of one big pot for you to manage. Remember, it's not a credit card, so you will have to have money in the account, and this does mean that some things won't work. For example, I tried to pay for fuel at the pump and this card got declined, as I guess it counts as a prepaid debit card, so you will have to go inside the counter to pay, which probably means that you end up buying more sweets and energy drinks. It's certainly not a deal breaker, just worth knowing. Then finally, I'd say that you'd have to work out if other points or rewards cards are worth it. I think it all depends on your lifestyle and spending habits. For example, airline points can be great, and this has been my preferred route to use for holidays, but it really does depend. Anyway, watch this space for updates. Maybe I'll do a review after 6 months or a year. Let me know if you want this. And don't forget to use the link in the description below to open up your own account for Trading 212 if you don't already have one. If you want to see my latest review of Trading 212 against other platforms for your stocks and shares ISA, don't forget to watch this video next. Now, I'll see you in the next video. As always, happy investing.